Thank y'all for tuning in for another moment of Let's with Key. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when thoughts are dropping. This is a channel where we're gonna talk about things that are affecting culture in the kingdom. Today's topic: North Carolina pastor shot multiple times by husband after her sermon on Easter. Let's get into it and let's not waste any time.
Yeah, folks, we turn to even more breaking news we're following tonight. One person is in jail for shooting and killing somebody in North Charlotte. Police say 61-year-old Eddie McCollum is charged with first-degree murder in the death of Tammy McCollum.
Her last sermon.
Dude, 61, murdering. Yeah, 61. I know for me and my wife, when we're in our 60s, chilling, for lemonade, iced tea, maybe golfing, traveling, enjoying life in my 60s. I'm thinking about killing nobody. What could possibly take you to that level in your 60s to want to shoot someone? And I'm going to assume, based on what I've heard, that this is his wife, y'all. Let's go. Let's go.
Sermon was still up when the sun came back out. Easter Sunday, April 6th, 2026. Tammy McCollum stood before her congregation at the Well Worship Center in Statesville, North Carolina, and preached. She did what she had done for years, gave everything she had to the room, to the message, to the people in front of her. Those who knew her said that was just who she was, not performance, not obligation. That was Tammy.
Yeah, not performing, passion. That's what we need more of in ministry. Passion over performance. You're too busy performing, chasing titles, when you're not so busy serving for a passion. And this is what she did. She was a pastor. People that knew her said she was passionate. Also, I believe coming up, she was a hairstylist, so she was bivocational. So she wasn't doing this for profit. I'm gonna leave that alone. A lot of y'all are doing things in ministry for profit. Leave it alone. Let's go before I get in trouble.
The kind of woman who showed up fully, every single time, whether she was behind a pulpit or a styling chair at the Ulta Beauty where she worked. The place her coworkers said felt a little brighter whenever she walked in. The sermon she delivered that morning was titled Emotions versus Maturity. She was
Wow. Her sermon title was Emotions versus Maturity. What a fitting topic to go on what happened the morning after she preached the sermon. Emotions versus maturity. I think a lot of times our emotions actually reveal our immaturity. And the emotions that we're immature in shows you where you still have growth to do. A lot of times our emotions, my grandfather would say, don't let your behind write a check that it cannot cash, simply meaning our emotions can cause us to make decisions that we later regret. I know y'all watch First 48, Forensic Files, and people reacting out of anger, greed, jealousy. Emotions can cause you to do some crazy stuff. And watch this, y'all. Our emotions lie to us. They change every minute, every second, every hour. It is 5:57 now, and at 6:10, you might feel different than you did at 5:57. Like your emotions change. You might be hungry, you might be thirsty, you might be sad, you may be happy. They change at the drop of a dime. So, wow, emotions versus maturity. A lot of y'all need to grow up instead of lashing out. Grow up instead of lashing out.
talking about how you choose to respond when things get hard, how you decide who you're going to be in the difficult moments. Hours later, she was dead. And the man who killed her was someone she had loved for more than 30 years. Her husband, 61-year-old Eddie McCollum, shot Tammy inside their home on Cardington Court in Northwest Charlotte just after 2 in the morning. She was 58 years old.
Hold on. Married 30 years. He's 61. So that he got married at 31. She's 58. So 31 and 28. They were 31 and 28 when they got married. So they were literally married to each other for more than half of their life or half of their life. Oh my God. How can you be married to somebody for 30 years and from an argument you decide to kill them? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's not that serious. Either call it quits, go take a ride. Hey, y'all can make up. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep it PG. I'm just saying it's not that serious. I've never had that emotion to where I wanted to take out my spouse. Now, spouses, we get on each other's nerves. And sometimes we get on them nerves that we try to hide from each other. We find them. But it's never to the point of I'm about to take this dude or this chick out. It ain't that serious, bro. Life is too short. And once you pull that trigger, you can't rewind and take the bullet back. This man shot somebody he was married to for 30 years. Let that sink in. Take a breath. 30 years. 61, 58. I call that the golden years. You're just getting ready to experience that third phase of life. I feel like teenager is one phase. I feel like young adult is another phase. And then when you hit that 60 mark, that's another phase where you're riding out into the sunset. You retired, you relaxing, you probably got grandkids. You've been married 30 years, that's an accomplishment. Society now, people ain't lasting 30 days. Not even a year. They ready to be done. So 30 years, that's a long time. Let's continue.
She was pronounced dead at the scene, and Eddie McCollum made it very easy for investigators because he called 911 himself, told dispatchers he had shot his wife during an argument, and told them exactly where the gun was. I want you to sit with that for a second. A man who spent his career working with exceptional children at a Charlotte middle school. A man who had shared a life with this woman since before most people have figured out who they even are. He called 911. He waited. He told detectives the same story again.
Hold on. Did I just hear that right? This man called 911. He said he ain't run from it. That sounds personal. The man shot and killed his wife, stayed in the house with the body, and called 911 and said, yeah, I killed my wife. Shot her multiple times. And got the nerve to work with kids at a school. This is why my mom said growing up, we couldn't go to certain people's homes. Like, she didn't trust everybody. Now, you can't trust everybody around your kids. This is why she was like, they can't spend the night at your crib, but they can come over here. Like, we know it's safe over here. And so that's why you have to be careful, ladies and gentlemen, on who you are choosing as a partner. I don't know if this was an ongoing thing or this just happened in the last year or two. 31 years is a long time. 30 years is a long time to be married to one person. You would think you're in marital bliss. I always say that first couple years is the rough, tough ones. Once you get 5 and 10 and 15, 20, 25, 30, you think that she did it. She said maturity versus emotions. And so the longer you with someone, you get to know each other's emotions. You know what presses each other's buttons. So you trying not to do that as much. Still filling it out. You still riding a bike. You still got the training wheels on. But at 30, you ain't got no training wheels. You driving a motorcycle at 30. 30 years? That's a long time. I'm hoping and praying that we get to 30 and beyond. Well, matter of fact, watch this. We gonna get to 30 and beyond. And we ain't gonna be tripping like that. Let's continue. Man, working with kids. Are you kidding me?
When they brought him in, he was cooperative right up until the moment he asked for a lawyer. And I don't know what to do with that. Not yet. Because cooperation after the fact doesn't tell you anything about the 30 years that came before it. It doesn't tell you what Tammy's life looked like behind closed doors. It doesn't tell you what was really happening in that house. What it does tell you is that on the night she came home from preaching about how to handle the hard moments with maturity, something happened between them. An argument. That's what the court documents say. An argument, a gun, and a woman who had spent her whole life pouring into other people.
Y'all know what? My wife had said this to me. I don't know if this to be true or not. I'm not trying to be humorous, but she's the pastor. Did she get picked over him for being pastor? 'Cause that could be an ego shot. I mean, did she get chosen to be the pastor or called to be the pastor over him? What's the thought? That's a thought because she preached the Easter sermon. Something happened. I don't know if she preaches better than him. I'm not going to try to say that. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know if they picked her because she does preach. She's more charismatic. I don't know. Is there a little bit of jealousy there? Can somebody tell me that in the chat? Is there a jealousy stemming from did she get chosen as pastor over him? I really don't know, but that's wild. Let's continue.
People didn't make it to Monday morning. I've covered a lot of cases. Domestic homicides have a particular weight to them, not because they're more violent than other cases, but because of the intimacy involved. This wasn't a stranger. This was a marriage. And I keep thinking about the sermon. Emotions versus maturity. Whether Tammy had any idea what she was walking back into when she drove home that night, I don't know. But I know she gave her congregation hope on Easter Sunday, and then someone who was supposed to be her person took everything from her before the day was even over. Eddie McCollum was charged with first-degree murder. That charge means something specific.
I didn't think about that. So Sunday morning, normally services start around like 10 or 11. And 2 in the morning, that's less than 24 hours later, she was dead. What happened between church letting out, going to bed? Let that sink in. What could have happened from church letting out around like 12:30, 1 o'clock, 12 hours later, she's dead? What? And then the mugshot right here says a lot, almost emotionless, like just, yeah, I did it. It's almost like flexing about, I did it. Like, ain't no flex. That is wild. Domestic violence is wild. Like, I know, oh, better or for worse, stay. No, you never were called to die in a domestic violence situation, whether you're married or not. I think some decisions have to be common sense. We have to, like grandma would say, some of y'all are too heavily minded that you're no earthly good. That means you don't have no common sense in life. Like you're listening to other people and you don't know what is going on in their home, giving you advice, and you sitting there suffering in silence and could end up dead. It's so many cases like this. This just happened to hit the headlines because this is a pastor. And it's catchy because she preached her Easter sermon. This is nothing new. This is always happening. And it ain't just man on female violence. Female are doing domestic violence on guys. Yo, if you're getting hands put on you, that is not love. I don't know how long this has been going on. I've been married 30 years. I would be shocked if this was happening for 30 some years. This is wild. And a lot of times, not saying she is, but people hide behind titles to hide what they're really going through. They put on the greatest Halloween parade you would ever see is on Sunday morning. People wear the greatest masks. They come hurt. They come wounded. They just don't want you to know it. They put that Band-Aid of a smile on their face. Yes. Every Sunday, people come to church with masking. Halloween parades. Let's continue.
It means the state of North Carolina is prepared to argue this wasn't just an argument that went wrong. It means intent. It means premeditation. And right now, what I want to know, what I think you're going to want to know too, is what actually happened in that house between the time Tammy came home and the moment he picked up the phone. Because the 911 call is not the beginning of this.
Yeah, y'all blame my wife for this. This thought came to my mind. What if he wanted to preach the Easter sermon? Like, wifey just brought this to my attention. And it pricked on my mind. What if arguing on the way to church? What if he said, can we tag team this sermon? Just a thought in my mind. What if he wanted to tag team the sermon? And she said, no, I'm the pastor. And he took it the wrong way. You know, and I know, people argue on the way to church, calling each other names, and then when they hit that lot, bless you, hallelujah. That's not to be where you just used in that parking lot. Yeah, I seen it. I'm keeping it real with y'all. Seen it, heard it. Like the greatest actors, the greatest Tony, the greatest Oscar award winners are on Sunday morning. Not to say everybody are actors. There are some real legit believers that really are walking the talk. But there are those that are imposters that are they're actors. And I'm realizing as I get older in my life that fake it till you make it is killing people. You're faking and you're flossing, acting like you're something or that you have something. You're going in debt. You're losing your mind because you're trying to, as they would say, keeping up with the Joneses. Time to be real, folks. It's time to be real. Religiousness has its place, but sometimes we over religiousize things when we should be using common sense. Let's carry on.
Story. It's just the part we know. Welcome to Dark Truth Files. She preached on Easter Sunday and never made it to Monday. And the person responsible was the last one anyone would have had to tell her to fear. If you're new here, subscribe and hit that like button and drop a comment letting us know where
Shout out to Dark Truth Files. Yes, definitely subscribe to their channel. This is really good stuff.
you're watching from.
Welcome to Iron Beam, the future of
Court documents tell us about what happened inside that house. When officers arrived on Cardington Court, Eddie McCollum was there. He wasn't hiding. He wasn't gone. He was present. And he was talking. The man who had made the 911 call stayed on scene, spoke with responding officers, and was then transported to CMPD headquarters, not in resistance, but apparently willingly, where detectives sat him down for a formal interview. And in that room, he told them what he had already told dispatchers, that he and Tammy had argued, that he had shot her. He confirmed it. Twice. Once on the phone while his wife's body was still in the house, and once again across a table from homicide investigators before he decided he was done talking and asked for a lawyer. The gun, according to the affidavit, was on the stairs inside the home. He told them exactly where to find it. That's not a detail I can move past quickly, because it tells you something about where his head was in those moments. He was...
I don't even lie. That is monstrous. You shot her twice. Personal, man. How could you do that to the person that you say you love? 30 years, man. I don't get that, y'all. I'm dumbfounded.
He wasn't in a panic. He wasn't incoherent. He was organized enough to remember where he'd put it and calm enough to say so. Tammy was found with multiple gunshot wounds. Not one, multiple. And I want that to register. Not for shock value, but because it matters when you're thinking about the difference between an argument that escalated and something more deliberate. One shot can happen in a moment of blind rage. Multiple shots is a series of decisions. The distinction between those two things is exactly what first-degree murder hinges on, and it's exactly what investigators would have been building toward from the moment they walked into that house. What we don't know from the public record is what the argument was about. Court documents and the affidavit don't specify. Police haven't released the nature of the dispute. What we do know is that Tammy had spent the earlier part of that day at church, preaching, being present for her congregation, doing what she did. At some point she came home, and at some point after that, when whatever had been simmering between them came to the surface. The affidavit that drove the charging decision was built from both. Eddie's own statements to dispatchers and detectives layered against what the scene confirmed. That document became the foundation the DA's office would use to move forward with first-degree murder, a charge that requires the state to demonstrate intent and premeditation rather than simply proving that the act occurred. Given that Eddie had already provided the admission, the investigative weight shifted toward what the physical evidence and any additional witness accounts could establish about the moments leading up to the shooting. What strikes me about Eddie McCollum's behavior in those early hours is not the confession itself. People confess for all kinds of reasons: guilt, calculation, the belief that cooperation will somehow soften what comes next. What strikes me is the consistency. He didn't change his story between the 911 call and the formal interview.
I agree. It's like he meant it. Like he meant it. Like he made a statement. Like he wasn't hiding from it. He didn't change the story. He's like, yep, I did it. And this is how I did it. And this is how it happened. Hey, the gun is right there. I'm not saying he intently did it, but something had to snap or click in his mind that you thought pulling the trigger and shooting the person that you love 30 years like was going to solve whatever it was going on between y'all two. Like, you have now cost yourself potentially life in prison with no parole. Depending on the state, depending on the intent, depending on how the person was murdered, it would be death row. We have no clue. I don't know the statute of limitations in North Carolina of the levels of charges based on murder, manslaughter, and all that type of things. But wow, literally, what is going through your mind to kill the person you love for 30 years over an argument is diabolical. It's diabolical.
He didn't try to frame it differently when he had a room full of detectives in front of him. He told the same version twice and only stopped when he invoked his right to counsel. That level of composure in the hours immediately after allegedly shooting your wife is something I...
Yo, look at this photo right here, the snapshot. She looks like she's bubbly. He looking like Oscar the Grouch. Like he not having fun. They had a Carolina Panthers game. I see the logo back there. Shout out Cam Newton. Check him out too. 4th and 1. Cam, if you see this video, shout out to you, my man. Proud of your growth and your transformation, and blessings to all that you're doing, my man. Don't let nobody put you down. Blessings to you. Live your life, bro. And God bless. But anyway, they're at the game. He looks like he's frowning. And she's like, hey, representing my Panthers. Hey. He's just looking like, why are you taking a picture of me? I don't want to be in it. That's the demeanor I'm getting right now. Like, oh my God, she got this camera again. Oh my God, we on camera again. We'll just stop and put it away. That's the demeanor I'm getting right there. She like, hey, I'm with my boo. Hey, I'm at the game. Hey. It just, this picture looks off.
I've thought about more than once while going through this case. By the time the sun came up on April 7th, Tammy McCollum had been pronounced dead at the scene, the homicide unit had taken over, and Eddie McCollum was in custody. CMPD confirmed publicly that they were not looking for any additional suspects. This was not a break-in. This was not random. This was a domestic situation, in a home on a quiet street in Northwest Charlotte, and the only two people in the middle of it were a husband and a wife, who had spent more than half their lives together. The investigation that followed had to answer one central question, not who did this, but what exactly happened inside that house, and what the law could prove about why. When CMPD's homicide unit took over the scene on Cardington Court, they weren't walking into a mystery. They were walking into a crime scene where the suspect had already confessed, the weapon had already been located, and the victim was already gone.
Listen, what if you can start a profitable online business by helping...
Build from that point forward wasn't a case to identify who was responsible. It was a case strong enough to sustain a first-degree murder charge in a North Carolina courtroom. And that is a very different kind of work. The scene itself became the first layer of that work. Forensic processing of the home would have documented the shooting in physical terms. Wound placement, trajectory, shell casings, the position of the firearm on the stairs where Eddie McCollum said it would be. All of that matters for premeditation, because the physical evidence either supports or complicates the narrative of how a domestic argument becomes a homicide with multiple gunshot wounds. Investigators don't take a suspect.
Yeah, I'm dumbfounded too how you, from an argument, like, you go put hand. I don't know if they got physical before he shot her. We have no clue. Like, I'm just dumbfounded how this man can go. Now he's smiling in it. Before he was Oscar the Grouch. Now I don't know if that smile is real. I don't know if it's genuine. Before he was Oscar the Grouch, now he's smiling. All I'm saying is, what happened from Easter sermon, church letting out, to 2 o'clock the very next morning that you snapped out like that, my guy? Like, what happened? I don't understand that. I'm dumbfounded.
Account of events as the full picture. They put the account against the physical record and see where the two agree and where they don't. The affidavit that drove the charging decision was built from both Eddie's own statements to dispatchers and detectives, layered against what the scene confirmed. That document became the foundation the DA's office would use to move forward with first-degree murder, a charge that requires the state to demonstrate intent and premeditation rather than simply proving that the act occurred. Given that Eddie had already provided the admission, the investigative weight shifted toward what the physical evidence and any additional witness accounts could establish about the moments leading up to the shooting. CMPD moved quickly. Eddie McCollum was in the Mecklenburg County Jail by the time Charlotte was waking up. And by Tuesday morning, less than 36 hours after Tammy was pronounced dead, he was standing before a judge for his first court appearance.
I need y'all to see the screenshot. Like bubbly. 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 Like she seems like she's like a butterfly. And this guy like just got this darkness to him. I don't know him, but I'm just look at the mugshot. It's emotionless. It's emotionless. Like why, bro? Why? Why can you just walk away? Why? Just walk away.
A public defender was appointed to represent him. Bond was set at $1 million secured. He did not walk out of that building. While the legal process moved, two institutions that Eddie McCollum had been part of had to respond publicly to what had happened. Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools acted first. Principal Walter Clyburn of Southwest Middle School sent a message to families the evening.
I want y'all to hear this too. He worked with kids like that were gifted and all that. And this man got suspended with pay. After the arrest, he got suspended with pay. I did not know school systems did that. I thought if you got arrested, you probably got suspended pending the investigation. I didn't think that you would still get paid if you got arrested. I know we waiting for the charges and all that, but y'all know any jobs you can get suspended with pay? Like, I thought most jobs, especially in the school system, you got suspended with pay after being arrested. Killing your wife is diabolical. I don't get that one. That's another dumbfounding moment to me.
Evening of April 6th, confirming that a staff member had been arrested and assuring them the incident had no connection to the school or any student. Eddie McCollum was suspended with pay, as protocol requires pending the outcome of legal proceedings. The district didn't editorialize. It stated the facts. He closed the loop for anxious parents and moved on. That response was measured and appropriate, and it also quietly underlined something worth noting. This was a man trusted to work with children who required additional support. Exceptional children. Kids who needed patience and care and consistency. Whatever was happening inside his marriage, he showed up to that school every day. The Well Worship Center in Statesville, where Tammy had served, did not immediately release a public statement when media reached out on April 7th. That silence isn't unusual. Churches.
You know what? I'm off of this because the more and more I listen to this, the more disturbing it gets. Simply, I would encourage y'all, man, if you're in a relationship where domestic violence is happening, any type of abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, spiritual abuse, physical abuse, that is not healthy, especially if the pattern is continuing on and on. Folks are not trying to get help. Not to say that people cannot change. That's not what we're saying. But if it's a pattern and it's not changing, it's getting worse, that can lead to death. It's so many times that people should have left, but they stayed too long and now they're gone. You stayed too long and now you're gone. This is a tragedy. Preach the Easter sermon. Don't know, like I said earlier, did he get mad? He can preach the Easter sermon? Is he mad that she's the pastor and he's not? What is this stemming from? If y'all know, I can't listen to no more. This is disturbing to me. Like, I don't understand it. Like, come on, man. Like, control. And she preached the sermon. Emotions over maturity. Emotion. I'm gonna encourage y'all, man. Think about it before you act. Think before you speak. If you think and take time to think before you say or before you do, it may save you a heartache. I'm telling you, a lot of times these crimes people are committing are from an act of emotion, whether it's anger, jealousy, envy, something is driving it. But there should be nothing driving you. You've been with this woman for 30 years. This is your boo thing. Strawberry shortcake. Yo, girl, yo. Hey, we riding. As Jay-Z used to say, Bonnie and Clyde. 30 years, bro. Imagine that, y'all. Some of y'all are not even 30, but those that are 30, they've been together that long since you were born. 30 years. 61 and 58. Could be riding with the top down on the coast of the beach. My goodness. You know what? Grandparents was right. Sometimes we so heavenly minded that we're no earthly good, and we get caught up in the clouds sometimes and be blinded and not realizing by using common sense we can see what's actually going on. Come on, man. Come on, somebody. Gotta make wise decisions. Man, I'm out of here. I can't no more. This is unfortunate. Prayers out to the family, the McCollum family. Prayers to the Whale Church. This is so unfortunate. Hey, y'all, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when I'm dropping more content. Shout out to Dark True Files on this content. Great covering on the story. Hey, man, y'all stay easy, man. Stay easy, man. Take a ride. I think they even got, if you got anger issues, in my state, they got scream parks where you can go bash things, you can go yell. Yo, if you play golf and you got a problem with somebody, oh, picture their face on the golf ball. Go golf. Don't hit them with the club. I said go hit the ball. Control your emotions. And you, bro, this is disturbing. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.